Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal Mr. Butter coming back at you. And I am cold. It is freezing out here. But I got a really dope pair of kicks that I want to look at. And I don't think there's any better lighting than being out here doing it. So I'm going to brave the elements and show you a dope pair of kicks. This pair today I actually got from End Clothing. I had my eye on this silhouette for quite some time. Typically when I get New Balances, it's 550s or 574s. Lately I got a couple of pairs of 480s, and this is the 2002R. This is a shoe that they re-released. I think these initially came out in 2010, but New Balance based these off of retro runners from the early 2000s. While the look remains pretty much the same as the shoes from 2010, they packed some more tech into these, and they actually are supposed to perform better, be more comfortable, that sort of thing. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's look at these New Balance 2002Rs in the Raincloud colorway. Alright, so same old box that we always get. No point in going over it. It's gray. The tag reads ML 2002RR. This is a US size 10.5. They only had US half sizes because on End all they had was UK whole sizes, which are off half a size from US sizing. I don't know, I'm probably confusing everybody, but I couldn't get a US 10. I typically always go true to size in New Balance, but I've heard that these don't run as big as the silhouettes that I'm used to, so hopefully it'll work out okay. The color on these is Raincloud, and these run $140 US. Since I ordered them from End, I had to pay a little extra in shipping. I think altogether I paid $156. And then have a look at these beauties. I love this colorway. I think these are so very nice looking. And the material on these things is insane. I've had a lot of people tell me whenever I do reviews of like the 574s or 550s or 480s, just they've said since I like those so much, I should really check out some of these, you know, higher end New Balance silhouettes. I've seen a lot of things about like the made in US or the made in UK versions, and those typically run, I think, around $200. And I thought that this silhouette was a good, you know, step in the right direction. I can't believe these things only retail for 140 bucks. I gotta tell you right away, I love the color on these things. And just as much as I love the color, I love the materials that they use on these. I think these things are gorgeous. And I love that monochromatic kind of color along with the cream down on the midsole, and then the hits of reflective and like silver. I just think these things look really, really good. And you can definitely tell that the inspiration comes from early 2000s running shoes. And also this down here, I guess this is the energy cushioning, but that reminds me of the Nike Shock, but it looks like it was done way better. Like it looks like a way classier version of the Nike Shock. And I had a couple of pair of Shocks whenever I was a kid, so I think that's neat to see. Maybe I wasn't a kid. I was probably a teenager or else like 20 years old when I had Shocks. I'd have to look at when they were out. But I know I had a couple of pair of shoes that had those huge, like pillar looking cushions on the bottom of them. I think this silhouette, the 2002R, it really got on my radar when I saw some reviews of the protection pack, which that wasn't a collaboration, but it was just like a really cool looking unique pack that New Balance did, and the overlays looked a lot more like ragged, and they just looked way more exaggerated, and the edges were a whole lot more rough and everything than what they are on these. But I think these things look really, really nice. And starting with this tread, It's got a real unique tread pattern on it, and it just looks like it's going to grip really, really well. And it also feels really, really dense, almost like a tire or something. Like, I think you'd have a hard time wearing that down. In the center, it says stability web. And admittedly, I'm not really up on all of the New Balance technology or anything. Typically, what I wear is just 550s, 574s, that kind of thing. But I think the energy is referring to these little pillars back here that kind of feel like gel. And then I think that there is and I think that the foam of the midsole, I believe that is Absorb, but I don't see any branding on there. I'm pretty sure that's what I read that it was, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to be spouting misinformation or anything, but like I said, admittedly, I just don't know a whole lot about the technology of New Balances. I know a lot of people have been really feeling New Balances for a long time, and I've always liked, you know, the silhouettes that I've got, but this is probably the most expensive New Balance that I've ever gotten. So I'm kind of making my way up to that made in US pair, you know. I think these were made in Vietnam. But like I said, with the materials, they seem really, really high end, and the craftsmanship on these, they just look beautiful in my opinion. I really, really love that monochromatic look. And especially because it's this light grayish blue color. Blue, I always say it's my favorite color, so these shoes I'm just really feeling. As I mentioned, those pillars, you can only see them on that outside of the shoe. On the inside of the shoe, you just have that real neat kind of pattern on the midsole. Looks pretty cool. And then coming up to the mudguard, that's where we'll first see this really, really nice suede. I think it's like pig suede or something like that. But it feels amazing to the touch, and you get a lot of life out of it. I don't know if you can see that change colors with direction, but it feels really, really good. It's nice thick cuts, and the edges look really natural. But you get overlays of that stuff all over the shoe. I love the way it wrinkles back here. I just think that looks really, really nice, and it feels great too. But underneath of that, you get, here's a little hit of reflective on the toe box, and then you have this nice mesh. It feels like it's really soft and really breathable, but you have the mesh on the toe box, and then going back the side, and then up by the collar, and then scattered throughout that, you've also got, I think this is a synthetic leather, but it's just a different color of gray, and it looks really nice. And then you've got this N stitched onto the side, and coming around the back, you can see that you've got a reflective hit up here at the top, and then this New Balance emblem there in the back. At the base of the tongue, it's more of this mesh like we have on the toe box, but at the top it's more of this pigskin suede. And the laces are flat laces, they just match the color of the shoe pretty well. And then the sock liner feels really, really soft. It almost feels like fleece, like the inside of really nice sweatpants or something.